Hey there, in today's video, I'm going to be making this for everyone who wants to know tips and tricks and how to just have fun with the silhouette. So let's get started. So I don't really have any plans, but I want to go ahead and just start off with typing in my name, McGill, and excuse the beeping. I need to change the battery on my smoke detector. Okay, so I typed in my name. I'm going to come over to the right panel, and I'm going to just pick a random, let's see, random font. I don't like that one. Just gonna pick a random one, I guess. I'll just stay with that one. Okay, so let's say that I want to have fun with Gina. Haha. And I'm gonna make, actually what I want to do is I'm gonna hold control down and arrow down to make a copy. Let's make 2 copies. Move these over to the side. This area here is called the holding, I guess holding area, but I like to design over here too. So I'm gonna be all over the place because I don't know how long I want to make this video, but let's say real quick, if you send this to the cutter like this, it's gonna literally cut this. Well, let me zoom in. Okay, you see these here? The cutter will literally cut that if you don't weld it. Select it, right click, weld. There's different ways that you can weld. I mean, everyone has different preferences. My preference is just to right click and click weld. Excuse my voice. So now you're going to see a bunch of boxes, and all it did is separate it. So you want to just group it. And I always say highlight. That's not the, I don't think that's the proper term, but you can just click and then just drag the mouse and it highlights or picks up all the pieces. Right click and then group. So now we have one piece. So I want to make this, make it red so it'll stand out. Another thing you can do, don't forget about these fill patterns. You can use these if you don't have any ideas or patterns that you want to use. Say you want to use 3D Jet Opaque or what have you for a shirt. I think these are pretty cool. I love these. Or, let me minimize this. Let's pick up an image. Let's do a flag. I'm just doing random stuff right now because I need to put up a video. I haven't done it in a week. I've been so busy and crazy since I've been busy. Let's do, where's the flags? I need to get my new glasses. So let's grab this flag and just throw it, drag it over here. I'm going to close that. That looks cool. I don't know if you can see it. I'm sure you can. The outline is red. You come up here. I need to change my mouse. Come up here, click on this little drop down, and there's a little triangle there. You click on that, and it makes it transparent. And another thing, I'm going to maximize my work area. You can call this workspace, work area, or what have you. Good thing about this video is you're going to be able to rewind and watch whatever you want. So up here at the very top, I'm going to click on that last icon, and what that's going to do is going to center my mat. And now Another thing I want to do is I want the flag, I want the stars to be up here at the top. So what I'm going to do is come back to the fill pattern. Sorry, it's already open, and then click on advanced options. And you see this little pan pattern. You click on that, and you'll see that this little crosshair pops up. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but you click on that and you hold it, and you're able to move the flag that's inside your wording. Or even if it wasn't, you can put an image inside an image. So all I'm going to do is look for the stars to put them up on the left or at the top. Well, I like that right there. Just trying to manipulate it. I want some red in there as well. I don't really want any blue at the bottom. So that looks good there. So anyways, just some things you can do with it. You can also, going back to the inside, you can also scale it to make it smaller, bigger, however you want. And again, that's only moving the flag. I want to be able to see some of the stars. Then you can pan it again. That looks better right there. That looks good. So you can use a 3G Jet Opaque for something like that, a name, or 4th of July or Independence Day or whatever. Just have fun with it. So let's put this one aside into the holding area. Let's see what else we can do here. Let's say I wanted to, let's say I don't want to have to bring that flag in again. You can just, as long as you click on this, it's highlighted. You hold your control down and the little pencil pops up. If you click on that, it will literally copy it. And again, you can start panning again. Pan. It should have, I thought it was going to be identical, but it didn't do it. I don't know why. But anyway, and let's just say you want to try different, you want to have, have different options. Or if you want to have your customer pick one, that way if they don't like something, it's on them. They picked it. Okay, so now I'm going to come back up here, center this. I'm going to show you how to, there's two different ways that you can duplicate. You can click on that. My preference is control, arrow down, arrow to the right, arrow up, and just keep going, arrow to the left, whatever. I mean, that's my preference. Another thing you can do, I'm just going back, and you see this little, looks like a star, but it's actually the replicate panel. You click on that, and here you can duplicate it once to the left, and in my case I did control arrow to the left. This will be this, serve the same purpose, arrow to the right, down, up. Here you can do 2 at a time, 3 at a time, and then 2 at a time down, 3 at a time down, etc. You can do a full page. Let's do full page. I don't think it'll do it because I am on the full page. Let's try this. Make it small, click on full page. And there you go. What else? And then if you want to mirror, it's only highlighting one. Let's click on control and come over here. Whoops, what did I do? Let's copy all of it, see what happens. Or let's select all of them. Ink control, little pencil. Curious as to what it'll do. Nothing, I guess. Oh, there it goes. We have a bunch of little flags inside, a bunch of little Gina gills. So then I go back. Sorry, I'm just gonna be all over the place. These are just little tips and tricks that I have. My system's running slow, as you can see. That was cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna, since they're all highlighted or selected, I'm gonna control click on the top left one. I'm gonna delete the rest, so I'll have one left. So let's come back to the right. So we did full page, and now if you want to mirror it, you can mirror down, which will make it upside down. Mirror up, delete, delete, mirror to the right. I'm just showing you all these little tools. So whatever you want to do with that. So let's do a circle. So if you come up to the left panel, and there's a little rectangular, there you get this little, it's called a fly out, because it literally flew out. Click on circle, and I'm gonna hold, let me center the mat again. So I'm gonna hold shift down, and that's gonna give you a perfect circle. If you don't do that, that's what it's gonna look like. But you gotta make sure you hit shift, and then you have to let go of the mouse first, and then let go shift to get a perfect circle. I'm gonna hit escape so I can delete this oval one. And the same thing with the square. Hold shift down and then get your mouse and drag it out. Let go of the mouse and then let go shift. Another thing you can do, escape. If I wanted these two to be lined up perfectly, highlight or select both. And all I'm doing is clicking outside and just going over the two objects. Come up here to the object, top left, click on object, align, and then I'm going to align from the bottom. This way they line up at the bottom. So delete, I'm going to delete this one. Let's get creative here. You know when you, like for instance, the font or wherever you get your fonts from, you know how they have like, let's see if I can show you an example. Yeah, let's do that. You know when you, let's just do this real quick. When you download a font, it gives you all what all is included in there. Sorry, there's a point to this. So let's do TTF. And I click on the wrong one. Yeah, I did TTF, clicked on text. So you see how it gives you examples of how the numbers are going to look. And it also shows you what other characters are included. Just to give you an idea. A lot of them will have like little shapes. You can't really see them on here. They're small. So anyway, so all of this, let's say I installed it. All of this is going to be, and I'll show you, it's going to be here when you go to change your font. Let's say you come up to your fonts. And all the symbols that are included, the only reason this is not highlighting is because I welded it, but it took away me being able to change the font. Let's just do Gina again. Okay, so let's say I want to go with Amarillo. And let's say I'm going to delete this. Okay, so I want to know what all was included in Amarillo. So I selected Amarillo, and then you come up here where the G is. They're called glyphs. All those little numbers and the little symbols, they're called glyphs. So anyway, let's say these are what the letters will look like. You see the G. So I'm gonna look for little like squiggly lines or something. Let's pick this here. I'm gonna just click on that. I'm gonna double click. I'm gonna make this big. What else could I do? Some fonts have a bunch of other glyphs, but this one doesn't really have much. I don't know what that is. No idea what that is. Stretch it out. And it's not stretching out the way I want it to. But anyway, let's just go with the one that I pulled. We're gonna get a little creative here. Okay, so I'm trying to, sorry, I'm not giving up, but there's something, just got an idea. I don't see any lines. Let's just do this one. Just to try to make up something. Okay, so I'm gonna close that. Let's say that I want a dot. I'm gonna right click and ungroup it. I'm gonna ungroup again. I'm gonna release the compound path. So it'll divide these two. A compound path is just basically a bunch of components or a bunch of pieces put together, made into one. So I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna control arrow up. I'm gonna control arrow up, control arrow up. I wanna separate these, highlight those two. I'm gonna highlight them again. And then here I can do control arrow up and then shift, move it up to separate it. Do the same thing, or you can do the highlight and then replicate. Remember, you can replicate up or down, left or right, however many you need to. And I don't see an up to make more than this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit shift and arrow up. And then, control arrow up and then shift one time just to make it equal. I can't even talk. Just to separate them equally or evenly. Let's do this, highlight the whole thing. Another thing you can do, and then hit shift, go to mouse, then I'm going to highlight these two. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to object, I'm going to mirror it. Actually, no, let me do control arrow to the left. I'm going to make a copy. Work control arrow to the left. I'm going to group this. I'm going to group this. And then shift, flip it over. And then I want it to be like the same. So I'm going to come up to object. And I'm going to flip it vertically. And then here, if you want to make sure it's lined up, again, you can pick that. And then shift, pick this, And then you can see it's pretty much lined up, but if it wasn't, object, align from the bottom, I mean, it barely moved. So I'm going to group this whole thing. And again, I'm going to control arrow down, move this to the top, picking up the whole thing and just going to center it. And here, another thing you could do, let's say that I got off track. You see this little crosshair right there with the box? You click on that, it'll center it. Whoops, it'll center it to the middle of the mat. Your virtual mat is what this is called, virtual mat. Let's color it in red. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, this is too close to Gina. I'm going to hold shift down and just arrow up, just so that it stays lined up with the bottom one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in, let me delete these. I'm going to type in Gina, let's see, Gina. I'm trying to think of a word. My last name's too short. I'm just going to put designer. And then I'm going to pick a font, come up to the right. Let's do Broadway. I could do designer Gina. Doesn't really matter. I don't want this to go past the arrow. So make this small. And then I'm going to grab this and stretch it out. And now I'm just going to color it black. And I want it to go to the back, but I also don't want the red lines. So come up back to the left, a little triangle to make it transparent. And I'm going to right click and move it to the back. And I'm going to stretch, whoops, I'm going to group Gina. I'm going to stretch Gina out. The I didn't save. So shift and then select it and then right click and group it. It's too big. And you can just adjust it however you want to. Whatever your little heart desires. I want to be able to see the E and I can ungroup it and move the G up. Oops, ungroup it again. I mean, you're not limited. Do whatever you want. Group it. I like that right there. I'm going to make that black. The outline, I want it transparent. There you go. 2-color decal, 2-color heat transfer vinyl, or whatever you're working with. Now, see this arrow and this arrow, I want to line them up. So I'm going to click on this, shift, click on this. You can see how this is more to the right, this is more to the left. Object, align, center. And it's centered. So now you can group it or do whatever. You're done. But I think this is a good way to learn how some of these tools work. There's so much you can do with it. You can, let's say, Gina, I don't want this G to cut into the S, so I don't want to have to layer it on top of the S. Because you know, once you press the first layer on your heat press, it kind of shrinks it because of the heat. So I want to do an offset, come to the right, that little star, create an offset. I don't want it that big, so you can just click the little arrow, minimize it. I don't want to take off too much of the S. You see how it's on top of the S? Okay, I'm going to leave it right there. And I'm going to select the designer, and you have to make sure that you are on top of what you're going to cut out. So click Shift to pick up designer. That little icon above that, that's the modify panel. You just click on subtract, and it's only going to subtract from that offset. So you can delete that. And now when you've got a little piece of that E, which you can get rid of that if you want to, it's up to you. But anyway, if you want that little piece there, you can leave it. But anyway, I think that looks good. It makes it look more realistic doing that. So anyway, there's just some more tips for you. That's all I have for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time.